And we're back with some more oxygen not included, and today it's going to be, well, a lot of little mini side projects to get this base up to full sustainability. Now, we've got one of our pawn skill scrub to get into the rocket, but until they are ready to, well, they need one more skill point. Until they're ready, let's go through a couple of side things. One is this annoyance over here. Every time I boot up the game, this automation wire is severed. It seems the game has a problem with this area here, trying to build anything in it. So the automation wire just instantly disconnects the moment I start up the game, which means it automatically closes those doors every time, and I have to come in here and manually get them to open again by connecting up the wire. A little bit annoying considering how many times we have to restart it. Now, next up, we want to start putting in solar power. The reason being, well, we're still running on coal. Running on a lot of coal, that is. 744 tons of the stuff is left. But if we tack in some solar to that, we can stretch that a lot further. Before we have to move on to something slightly more renewable, we might actually be able to get by just on solar, considering how much hydrogen we're using. You will notice we're kind of going with a more wavy pattern here. It's just a lazy way of doing it. Normally I would have them confined to 8 block radiuses, so it'd be sort of a down-up or an up-down pyramid shape underneath the first 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'd repeat that pattern every 8. But this time I thought we've got so much room, we might as well just stretch out the whole way. Plus it makes things a bit simpler. Also, we're just going to make this chunk part of space. Reason being, it allows us to bring this all the way down and just plug it directly into the grid right here, really close, instead of having to do some weird jigging up there. Now, over here we have a little bit of a problem. These are going to drop down here, so we want that regolith to not fall on top of any of our solar panels. So I think, yeah, that's probably as good as the solar panels are going to get around there. We're losing a little bit of productivity, but it's making our regolith sweeping much simpler. Alright, now with that done... Oh, that reminds me, we have to put in the auto sweepers for that. But later, we've still got several projects to do. There's one other thing that was mentioned that I never took care of yet. That was it. Down here at the bottom right. This was mentioned in the comments several times, and I just wasn't paying enough of attention. I was being silly with this. We've set this to detect carbon dioxide, and if it detects carbon dioxide, it drains it out. Simpler thing to do, detect it to detect steam. If it detects steam, it turns off the gas pumps. That way it will keep sucking out any gases that are not steam, making our life so much simpler. So we're just going to stick in a quick NOT gate down here. Then we're going to hook up the rest of the wiring. The wiring's ready, I just need to finish it off there. There's already a piece of wire right at that section. But before we can do any of that, it's time for another duplicant. So please say hello to Akeem Kunel. They will be ending up being a rancher. Rewiring complete. Now, anytime these sensors don't detect steam, they'll turn on these gas pumps, and these gas pumps will start sucking out all the gases down here. We're going to have a little bit of a mix of carbon dioxide and, sour gas for a while. Over here as well, I've got these 2 gas pumps, and they have been working for quite some time. And what they have been doing is they have been sucking out all of the gases in the oil biome, but they're set up to only flow onto this pipe, so if this is not active, only then can they suck out the gases. And that just means we have managed to reduce the pressure in here from 4 kilos of sour gas to about half a kilo over there. But over the other side of the map, we're looking at, still 3 kilos. It's going to take a while for all the pressure to flow across, but it's definitely going faster. Over here, yes, we finally want to get out the last of these solar panels. So we're just going to stick them down there. It's pretty easy to line these up. All you do is make sure the green power socket is one to the left. And I think that's the last one, is it? That is, yes, definitely the last one. Now we just have to wire them up. That should not go there. That should be one tile up. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but, we've come this far. We might as well make sure they're even. That should make a beautiful solar array. Now it's time to wire it up. Oh, more food for our voles have arrived. While this power install goes ahead, might be an idea to put in a battery box to go with it. I'm thinking we are going to go simple, brute force, and ignorance. Where are we? Over here we have our industrial brick. It's already got a cooling solution built in. Where is it? Oh, wrong one. This here. So it will keep everything cool. All we need to do is throw in a bunch of batteries. Now, we're not doing anything fancy, so we're going to use the worst batteries for it, which is, where is it? The jumbo batteries. They're cheap. They're cheerful. We can throw them in for minuscule costs, and we'll just throw in a whole bunch of them. While those are getting installed, we'll put these on a slightly lower priority. We'll lower them down to a 4. We've also put in some piping there, just to make sure that we can, the piping will just run around the cooling loop so we don't have to worry about that thing overheating. Now let's get back to finishing up this more important power overlay. Alright, solar grid now up and running. That's going to be, well, that's going to be a nice chunk of solar power going into our base. The reason half of them are in shade is just they work better that way, or you get more power out of the same amount of sky. Also, hopefully our pawns won't get, or our dupes won't get nearly as sunburnt anymore. I should probably remove a bunch of those ladders. Ladder removal is one of those things on the list. Now, battery box down here. That was it. We need to put in some cooling for this, otherwise it will overheat after a while. Temperatures down here are actually not the worst, but simple solution, do that, and sever that, and now it's part of our cooling loop. Perfect. Battery power is going up. Now, the great thing about these in comparison to, say, the smart batteries will keep charging until they hit, whatever you get it set to, 60-30. That's what all the coal generators are set to. So if the smart batteries are below 60%, or hit 30%, they'll get charged up until 60. So coal will charge up to 60%. These things here, though, have twice the power capacity of them, so the weird bit is these things will only get charged to about, somewhere between 15 to 30%, because they have twice the power capacity. Which means anything over that is the solar. So the solar will charge these up, charge them to 100% during the day, and then during the night they'll slowly start to drain down, but hopefully they should last us through the whole night. We can add more if we really need them. But in theory, coal shouldn't kick in unless we have, a meteor shower during the day when we need it. That should be that. Yeah. What was the other thing I was going to do? Oh yes, I needed to launch a cargo rocket and close the doors behind me, so as not to be a slob. When it comes back to our home base, we have one more thing to do, was it? Yes, we are going to be stripping out a chunk of this and preparing it for putting in our third mini base. We're going to need a third one to store all the duplicates we've got going on. Oh, while that's going on, we're going to move all of this storage just a few tiles to the right. We're going to put the next mini base just down here, so to squeeze it in right there, that section, so it should be directly below that one. But at the moment, we do have a beautiful opportunity. That is, we get to watch 3 rockets launch in perfect tandem. Those 3 steam rockets there are all hooked up via a dumb automation system. The bottom rocket, the very bottom one here, is actually hooked up to tell the doors at the top to open. The other 2 rockets are not. Those 2 rockets just sit there, and if the door opens and they have full steam, they'll launch. And because these 3 were all ready at the same time, the first time they launched, that means when they come back, they'll start getting gassed up by the same gas pumps. Well, there's 3 separate gas pumps, but they'll all get gassed up simultaneously, and all 3 of them should finish at the same time. So in theory, they should all just keep launching in perfect tandem, which means all 3 of them come back at the same time, which means the door only opens once to let all 3 of them in and out. Well, twice to let all 3 of them in and out, as opposed to 6 different times depending on what time they come back at. That's the hope. And, oh, yeah, a meteor just stopped that. Ooh, we do have a few relics. Never mind. The speed of them flying around in slow motion was just too much. Let's get back to clearing some space. Time for a bit of a sweep up as well. We're going to consolidate all our storage into this one centralized location. Ooh, game's thinking. Slow down. Yeah, the saves are taking a little bit longer than normal. I'm still leaving it on saving every cycle because, well, yeah, if it crashes out, the amount of time I could lose, if I set it to 10 cycles, that's just, at current run speed, say 600 seconds, so that's 10 minutes per cycle. 10 cycles would be, an hour and 40 minutes. So let's leave that autosave on. The minute or so it costs every so often is worth it. Well, they are getting around to all that. Another construction project we can undertake that we should have done a while ago. Oh, research rocket is back. I'll have to remember to relaunch that. We should install our automation around here. Auto sweeper. We have them now made out of thermium, so we can just stick them along here. That daisy chains onto that, which daisy chains onto that, which... damn it. Forgot to remove the ladder segment. Alright, we'll daisy chain these along, and then we'll have to put in a power wire. I am not even going to pretend to try and make this pretty. There's going to be no subtlety about this. We are going to power every single one of these with the heavy watt conductive wire. We could run some regular conductive wire and make it nice and, decor light, but realistically we just want all of this to chuck as much of the regolith in here as possible, as quickly as possible, and with the least effort possible. That should take care of all of that. Now, these auto sweepers, you may be wondering how they remain cool and how they don't overheat. Well, that's very simple. Anytime regolith falls on top of them, well, they're thermium. They have an overheat temperature of 575 degrees, so the regolith actually sucks some heat out of them, meaning every time regolith falls them, it cools them. there is the theoretical possibility that, for example, this one here only has one tile open to space, so only one tile might get hit by regolith because the other two tiles are covered by this the C minor above it. Odds of it not getting regolith on it in time before it overheats, I haven't seen it happen yet, so I'm not really that worried, to be honest. But that still leaves us one other problem. We have got to fix these C miners as well. They should be getting pretty toasty up there. We haven't done anything with it. Ooh, yeah, one of them's what, 120? Yeah, we're gonna have to get in some gas cooling there in a bit. But first we'll let them finish off the auto sweepers. Before we can get this finished, though, it's time to add on another duplicant to the team. Say hello to our newest duplicant slash patron, Zogton. Zaughon. Zoggen? They will be going into science and probably into rocketry later on. We're going to need some more rockets later. Actually, we may... We're stuck with the problem, you see. This is working okay. However, the temperature in here... Well, this is the good thing. The temperature in here is not going above about 170, 180. I think steam rockets don't go above that temperature, which is actually really great for us. The moment, though, we stick hydrogen in here, we will have to start mounting lots and lots of steam turbines to the side. It gets ridiculous really quickly if the last map is anything to go by. So we can't... Well, I don't really want to do it. I don't want to put hydrogen rockets in there because it will kill the last of the few frames we have. Let's just see how fast the duplicants are moving down here. As you can see, at our maximum pace, they're moving pretty slowly. Anything we do takes an eternity, so we might just stick with steam rockets and scrap hydrogen entirely. I'm too worried about what it would do to the frame rate if we actually started producing liquid oxygen and hydrogen. Maybe when we're a little bit closer to the 141 and we know just how bad it's going to get. Some of these already have power, so let's add all of these in. Let's see, that should start a bunch of them moving. Now you see them all just daisy chaining the regolith along. It will eventually get all the way to the end here and get dropped off. It'll all end up down here. This will pick it up and dump it in with our shovels. And since it's a pneumatic door, it just falls straight through it. Same thing as anything else. It all falls through a pneumatic door. This way we should be able to automate the feeding of our shovels without having anyone ever go up here again. So what we can do now is we can wall this in so that no one can get in here anymore. Well, at some point we will. Not just yet. We still have to install the mod that allows us. I want to do a chain deconstruct and deconstruct a bunch of the ladders. We don't really need them anymore, and it's just adding more pathing options. I've left them in for the time being, but I think this area here can probably be discontinued in a short order. Oh, there we go. Powers through there. Alright, that is the automation of regolith removal. All that's left now is the automation of cooling for these, which I am terrified about. We're going to have to put liquids through all of there, and then we're going to have to run I'm going to run a gas cooling loop just because it's simpler and less intensive. There is a very large construction project queued up. All of the gas piping will go through here, and all of the liquid piping. We're going to send one liquid pipe across here to stock everything up with a little blob of liquid. Here comes our liquid medium. We're going to use this to provide heat transfer between the drills and the background. And the background is going to be gas piping. A whole bunch of gas piping that's going to rotate gases around here. I have no idea what this is going to do to the frame rate when we hook it up. But it's a really large gas cooling loop. That's probably not going to be good. Now, where does the cooling actually come from? Well, it goes up here all the way around, back down again, and through our steam room. The steam room for the shovels, so it's barely ticking over at all. It should eat all the heat handily. All we have to do is keep the temperature of these drills below 275. That steam room can handle it with ease. The petroleum has backed up along the entire route, so all we're going to do now is delete a bunch of these backing plates, or well, delete the pipes where they touch the C miners. That way it'll drop one blob of petroleum right on that spot. And we just do this, repeat this all the way along. These pipes, as we delete them, the petroleum's leaking out, and it's going to land on these and hopefully just dissipate into the background of space. However, some of it will land down here and become an annoyance. But on the bright side, where is it? Yes. Our rockets are returning in perfect tandem. All three returning, just lined up perfectly. This is also doing well for our water production, though I might want to make a few changes here still in the future. Oh, no, still not enough. 2 or 3 kilos. I'm thinking we're going to have to enlarge these, make these 3 tiles wide. It'll be a bit of a pain to get done, but we'll have to remove a bunch of stuff for the future. For now, we're just going to make sure all of these have got their water in place, or their liquids in place. There you go, little blobs of liquid for all of them, except the one on the very end. I thought I'd leave that till last. Then the gas comes up, and as the gas goes... Oh, wow. we're going to see as the gas goes around here, that's down to 82. This is 81. So this miner here is 81. And as the gas rolls by, the gas should start sucking the heat out of it. What temperature is the gas? 70. Okay, never mind. The gas is not really going to be that cold, but it's reducing the temperature of that, or at least adjusting it. This should make sure all of these drills never, ever go above, 125 or 130 or so. Roughly about that point. Now, let's sever this last one here. Alright, we'll fill back up the pipes. We'll send them all back out the way they came. And that should be the end of all of that petroleum. Now, how's our gas loop going? Our gas loop is slowly filling. We actually don't care if it's hydrogen, oxygen, whatever type of gas goes in there. These drills require only a minuscule amount of cooling. They only activate once every... You know what? Let's actually check, just have a read up on one. Where are you, RoboMiner properties? And 2% in the last 5 cycles. So as you can see, not going to generate a lot of temperature. I'm more worried that they're going to drag the temperature of this down at the start and make the steam in here condense. Let's hope not, but whatever. As for the solar, yes, we are running 100% off solar for anything that's connected up to the main grid. You'll see here, these are just maxed out. They're all full. So the coal generators have not been kicking in at all, which means, what's our coal looking like at the moment? Coal's up to 750. Let's keep an eye on that, but it should keep going up. I'm going to go around and start finding things we can continue to keep plugging into the grid, like say, where is it? This over here. We can plug in all of these gas pumps that are feeding our steam turbines. We can plug those directly into the mains, in which case we can just get rid of these. We don't need them anymore. Bye-bye. They were an inefficient use of our coal anyway. Taking a look around, we have a lot of random coal generators lying about the place. First off, there's just 2 sitting right over here, which, yeah, we're getting rid of those. They were powering some oxygen diffusers around the place, probably from the early first 50, 60 cycles. Then we've got another bunch over here. I'm not even sure. Oh, those ones are powering the kitchens. You know what? We are going to leave those there. But these ones here can all go. We don't need these anymore. They were powering our industrial setup, which was over here dumping hot liquids in there. Then we've got another one down here, which we also need. That was also powering some random stuff, usually oxygen diffusers. We've got these ones over here. They were powering our plastic and oil production. We don't need those anymore either. We've got some more down here, which we're going around to deleting. We're just running in some replacement power cables to, you know, take the load, so to speak. And we had another one over here, which we deleted just recently. That one can also go. It was amazing how many of them there are. In fact, I don't think I found them all. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 more. Oh, there's one. What is that even doing there? I have no idea. Have we disconnected it? It's, yep, going to nowhere. Going to nowhere, you know what? You can go. Just a little bit at a time. Hopefully we'll start saving some coal this way. Of course, the clock never stops ticking. So please say hello to our next duplicant/patron, Vincent Bauer. Any relation to Jack Bauer? No? No? With all of the sweeping we've queued up, this place has become a little bit of a hub for all of the duplicant activity. They're coming from far and wide to dump off everything from around the map at this location. This will be our one centralized storage. The ones spread across the map were just while we were doing the early efficient sweep. Now we've got so many duplicants, it should be reasonably efficient to do this, but we do have a lot more to do. Namely, mistakes have to be corrected. This mistake up here, I made these too narrow. These should be 3 tiles wide, the steam entryways, and I realised this on my last playthrough, but of course, you know, I'd completely forgotten by the time of getting around to this one. As well as that, there's something else I want to try. People were recommending using a layer of petroleum here to cool down the steam turbines instead of using any gases, which I kind of want to give a try to. The problem is we got to rip out a lot of this. For example, to expand this by 1 tile, we've got to delete that, which means this whole thing has to move down 1 tile, which means this whole thing has to move down 1 tile, which means this whole thing has to move down 1 tile. A lot of things got to move down 1 tile. Quick stop for another duplicant. Say hello to duplicant patron 123, I believe, John Mann. We are finally ready to start this up. We're using a slightly different method of cooling the steam turbines. We're just putting a layer of petroleum here. So the cough here is just putting that down. You know what? Let's make sure that's a sweep only from now on. This will put a thin layer of petroleum all the way along the bottom here where the steam turbines are. And then what happens is, oh, disable auto bottle as well, let's say yeah, then what will happen is the cooling loop will come up through here and through that petroleum layer, and that should keep the steam turbines cool. Oh, that's the theory. And here comes the first of the polluted water. The polluted water is going through there. There it is, goes through the aquatuner. Aquatuner cools it down, and it goes up, around, and it's going to cool down all the steam turbines above it. And I think we're about ready to fire this up. First though, let's do a little bit of sealing in here. Yeah, those can be sealed in, and that can be sealed in. Once they're sealed in, we break it open this side, and we can let the steam flow in from our chimney. I think this should work a lot better. Let's find out. What a difference an extra tile of space makes for this. That steam has just flown in there quite nicely. Now, the temperature hasn't quite gotten up to where we wanted in a few of them. They're a little bit below boiling here in the end, but that's not going to last very long. Considering the amount of steam flowing in there, it seems to be wiping it out in pretty short order. Oh, there we go. It's already up. That one's 96, 97, 98, etc. So, how much water are we getting out of this? Well, 9 kilos a second. Much better. Now, it was, of course, offline for about 3 to 6 cycles while we set this up. So we're maxing this out at 10 kilos of water, which is, yeah, sort of where we want to be. We might want to actually make another one of these further down at a little bit of a later date to kind of help out. But that seems to be a roaring success. Dear Lord, 1 tile of a difference. We just increased the width of these by 1, and we went from about 3 kilos to 9. Oh well, that's water sorted for a while. All of that flows down here and goes into our liquid tank. That pretty much fills it up. That should fill that up to the top. Alright, now what's left over? Ah yes, we have to finish off the last of the sweeping up, which should hopefully not be too long. Our dupes are going mental down here doing their sweeping. And then we want to put in our next mini base right over here. I'm thinking we could put one right here, and then we could squeeze in a 4th one over here. Well, we might as well have 4. We want to mirror them all, so we have... Oh, 1 second. So we have 1 on each side up here, and then 1 on each side down there. It means any of the new duplicants can go straight into one of our mini bases. They won't have atmosuit docks, but they can stay in there until they're ready, and then we'll transfer them over to our final mini base. Now the question is, where are we going to squeeze it in? Because I think we're going to have to drop this entire row of incubators down 1 level, destroy one of our old ranches, and move down our evolution chamber a couple of tiles. Though that shouldn't be too hard. I figure if we just make one down here, take the bottom out of that, they should all just drop down nice and easy. Since this entire floor, well, this entire ranch has to go, we really don't want to just send everyone in there with guns blazing. Those stone hatches have quite a bit of hit points, and they are really tough to stop. So the first thing you want to do is you want to wrangle them up so they can't fight back. And duplicate time. Please say hello to duplicant patron 124, Joseph Wade. Now, we went with the diver's lung because, of course we did. Unfortunately, they have loud sleeper and slow learner. They're not going to be very popular with their friends, but it's okay, Joseph. I'm sure you'll get along just fine. Once they're all wrangled up, it's much easier to pick a fight with them. Sort of cruel, but it does keep our duplicants a little bit safer, which, you know, we've already lost 1 duplicant this run. I'm not losing a second one. We're making it all the way to 141 without any more deaths if I can manage it. Oh, wow. I just remembered we have an awful lot of duplicants. They're all going to come from all over. This is the worst case of ganging up I've ever seen. Oh my god! There's only 4 of them! Guys, seriously! I don't think any of them have ever heard of the term overkill. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, let's move this entire incubator setup down to the next layer. Before we start filling these up with more stone hatch eggs, I think we're going to have to go through these tiny little bit difficult process here. We have to deconstruct those, get all of those to fall down there, and somehow not let any of them escape. I'm thinking we might have to delete that door. You know what, we'll find out when it happens, but this should be... That's a lot of eggs. And... Okay, not a complete mess. Not a complete mess. We lost a bunch of water, but... Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it could have been worse. You just mop that up, people. Come on. So long as the hatches in here can't... Yep, they're still drowning, so... Yeah, I'm going to call that a 100% success. Now, what I want to do is I want to wall this in. Or, not wall this in. I can explain this. We don't want them trying to pull eggs out of here to fill up these incubators. We wanted to take the eggs out of these ones, so we're not having any redundancy. Conga line of dupes is heading somewhere. I have no idea what they're doing, but I'm sort of curious to find out what. Oh, they're storing lead. Never mind yet. The sweep is still in full effect. I keep forgetting it's only been it's only been, what, 10 cycles since we started that? Yeah, all of that is done. Simplest thing to do here is, yeah, click on the doors, and then we're going to block any dupes from coming in here just for a little bit. The reason being is then what we can do is we can deconstruct these, while at the same time we can copy those settings down here. That way they should theoretically take all the eggs from up here and dump them into these. We don't want them taking the eggs out of there. Well, just for now. And there, our transplant, which only moved everything one floor, was actually pretty fast. Alright, we're also going to have to get rid of these two farms here, which is fine. We're actually running out of slime. How much slime we got left? 29 tons. The slime has served us so well. The amount of fried mushrooms we've got out of it, it has saved us, to be honest. Alright, let's... should we just dig all these up? I think... Yeah, there's no point keeping them around. We'll dig up a lot of these. I think it's after a recent harvest anyway. Most of them are not close to being done. Most of the rest of them are kind of harvested. There's a few in there, but, you know, we're not going to worry too much. We'll dig all of those up, then we'll strip mine this place out, and we'll turn it into our next mini base. We are putting together all the scaffolding we're going to need to get this... we're going to strip out this entire area, and then we're going to turn it into the micro base. However, there's a few things you have to move around. Namely, where is it? Yeah, this water pipe that goes straight through here, this one was providing water to the oxygen system for this whole base. So instead, we're going to have it take a right and go all the way up in here and dump into our centralized storage. Well, what is technically our centralized storage, though it's not our biggest water tank just yet. And then from there, it will be pumped out and sent up again. It's going to require a little bit more electricity, but our solar is working out quite well. In fact, let's go have a look at our battery box. So down here, we've expanded the battery box out just a little bit more. And as you can see, most of those batteries pretty full. It can hold... well, where is it? They're at 25, so these batteries are not even close to activating yet. This solar is actually tiding us over quite well. Actually, let's have a look at the stats. This here is all of our achievements and stuff. Calorie generation, total oxygen produced, average power produced. Each one of those spikes, I think, is when we activate one of our self-powered oxygen makers, and they just sort of... They produced way too much for a while until they got the backlog kicked in. Average power produced. This is average power wasted. You see there's a massive spike where we activated the solar, but we didn't have the batteries to soak up the power. Where is it? Duplicants. This is getting a bit wonky up here, namely because we keep sticking them in rockets, so it's not quite the smooth line we would hope for. Time worked, travel time, all of that stuff is going up. Rocket missions underway, also going up. Domesticated critters, just skyrocketing. That's all those shovels helping us out. I think it's going pretty well so far. Anyway, let's zoom this out here. We're going to be stripping out this entire area, taking out the ladders, taking out everything, and then we're just going to stick in a mini base. Oh, the only thing I regret here is that we're going to lose that thimbleweed. That thimbleweed is actually kind of useful. We've only got 117 of those, and we need them for atmosuits. Though another 100 or so should carry us for the amount of atmosuits we need. Though, you know, always nice to have a few more. Oh, and star map wise, where is it? We are going to explore this living planet out here, which does have pips and arbor acorns, so we might get into a little bit of natural farming. Though at this late stage, I'm not sure it's going to help that much. Before we can finish clearing up, though, we do have to pay the bills. Paying the bills means more duplicants, so please say hello to duplicant/patron Peter Werner Howland. That's 125. Yep, we're 25 beyond 100 right now. Yep, that feels good. Feels good. Though a bunch of them are in rockets, so they don't show up here. Now, where are we? Yeah, we still got a bit of this to finish, and we can start placing down our new mini base. Just as I was finishing this up, I noticed that... Whoa, who made a mess? 1 second. We've got a couple of things we have to deal with. Poor Jason over here had a little bit of an accident, and it took me a while to figure out what caused it. Turns out when I was deleting things over here, I had restarted recently, and you know when you restart, your deconstruct goes from buildings to all? Yeah, there's actually a mod that stuff that I probably should have installed it. I accidentally deconstructed a few power wires. Now, these power wires here go up and feed the water sieves, and the water sieves are what filters the polluted water coming out of our toilets. So we've currently got that on a level 9 repair, which should hopefully get it back up and running right about... Come on. Seriously? Is no one going to finish that? It's right there, guys. There we go. Boom. Power's going through. Water starts getting filtered. Now the toilets should start getting more fresh water. Well, they better soon. Anyway, another problem that we encountered was these hydrogen generators over here. What triggered me to these was one of these over here had... what are you doing, Smith? Taking a nap because you're exhausted. You know what? That's fine. One of these had actually got damage on them. The reason they'd got damaged was hydrogen had backed up into the lines. And the reason hydrogen had backed up into the lines was some of these hydrogen generators were damaged and not active. And because they weren't active, they weren't burning off the hydrogen fast enough. And because the hydrogen wasn't burning off fast enough, it ended up getting sucked up into the gas pumps. I think I somehow flooded this with a little bit too much oxygen when we first started up and didn't notice. So a bunch of these ended up getting damaged. But once we've got these repaired, that should hopefully not happen again. I've checked these tanks. There is only hydrogen present, no oxygen. And that should be that fixed. And we can get around to producing our next little mini base. Just maybe let me do a few little minor checks on the side to make sure nothing else has exploded while we haven't been looking. It's time to break out the blueprints and throw this sucker in here. Now, where exactly we want it is right about there, I think. Wait, no, right there. Boom. Okay. Now we got to make a few adjustments, though. For one thing, we can't build this all at the same time. For example, trying to build that metal tile brick there, you'd probably just end up building the outside and leaving the inside empty. So this is going to take a little bit of maneuvering. That little monstrosity should... Well, okay, it's going to take them a little bit of a while. In fact, we're probably going to have a few hires in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not show the hires in this. I'm just going to do the full-on this being built time-lapse. And then once it's finished, I'll show all the hires that we picked up along the way. This shouldn't take more than about 6 cycles, hopefully. We got a lot of dupes and we got a lot of resources, and we're right beside our stockpile over here up in the top left. So hopefully this should be very quick. Give a quick welcome to our newest duplicant, Infinity. Infinity will be joining us as a gopher. That was pretty fast. I think we got it done in less than 6 cycles, and we've got almost this entire mini base done. There's something to be said about having, what, 126 dupes? Well, okay, a bunch of them in rockets, 118 active duplicants running around the map helping you build things. Definitely does maybe speed things up just a teensy-weensy bit. This up here will be our cooling loop. It's pretty much actually, no, it is an exact duplicate of this one up here. A few little minor things have to be tweaked, like we still have to put in the infinite food storage and a bit like that, but by and large, yeah, we're good to go. I am horribly late. It is already 25 minutes past the time I should be releasing this video, and I haven't even started rendering it or editing it or doing anything with it, so yes, I'm going to be late today. Apologies. But the thing is, the moment I start one of these videos, I kind of just end up burning as much time as I possibly can. I just can't help myself, it seems. Once this is finished anyway, we'll stop putting water in here. I think we've got more than enough for our little cooling loop here. Alright, that will cool down our oxygen. Anyway, so far, all going well. The modifications we made over here have made a big difference to how much water we're getting at. Carbon dioxide, yes, we have to go and fix that problem a second time. That's going to eat into our production, but it's fine, it's fine. The amount of steam in here is actually growing constantly. If we checked in here, just to be up at about 20 now, we're up to... Wow, okay, 40 kilos down here. 45, 47, 48 kilos. We're almost 50 kilos of pressure. It eventually gets up to a point where it stabilizes and the amount forcing its way out the top will increase. Also, we do have to scrape out the sides of the chimney. When we do that, we'll increase the flow as well. All in all, I'm going to call this a win. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed and good luck.